Hellmaster EX. This award-winning system features the first single-engine joystick with digital electric steering and new autopilot capability. See Hellmaster EX in action at a Yamaha Outboard dealer or visit YamahaOutboards.com.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey, Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman Magazine. It's Thursday morning, July 18th, 2024. I'm in my hotel lobby getting ready for another day of ICAST excitement. Yeah, it's the International Tackle Show. It's held in Orlando every year. And we are just running mad trying to find all the latest stuff. It's not a consumer show. It's only open to the manufacturers, the buyers like the tackle shops and the wholesalers, and of course media pigs like me. But this annual event is held here in the hottest place on earth, Orlando, Florida. I dare not go outside just yet. It's probably second only to the first hottest place on earth, Las Vegas. That's where this event used to be held, out in the middle of the desert. But it's really a great show. We love coming down here. It's where all the leading manufacturers put out all of their stuff and make their big product announcements for the rest of this year, all the way into the new year. We're talking the rod builders, the reel manufacturers, lines, lures, apparel, everything you can imagine. Great new electronics. And again, this stuff will be released over the next 6 months. The announcements come now. Some products will be available right away, others not until 2025. But I'm here with Matt Broderick from the Long Island edition, Dave Anderson from the New England edition, Jenny Ackerman from all the editions, and of course Mike Caruso, the publisher. We're looking to find some of the coolest items in the world from the world of sport fishing and hoping to bring that to you over the next year. Because here's what we're going to do. We typically end up coming out of here with 60 or 70 product reviews and spotlights of related interest to you folks, of all of us back in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, and then we'll release 2 of them a week until we're done. The way things are looking right now, we're not going to be done releasing this stuff until ICAST 2025. But it's all about building a better mousetrap. The only thing that I could think of to build the best mousetrap of all right now is a wind machine, something that'll change the direction of the wind. It continues to wreak havoc on our inshore fisheries as those south winds have continued unabated for so long. But based on the reports that I'm getting from friends, this sometimes this warmer surface water going up to, you figure it's running parallel to the New Jersey, Delaware coast, right? That south wind blows all the warmer water up into Long Island and New England. Well, the guys up in Long Island are telling me they're seeing a pretty darn good fluke bite, and that must be because of the warmer weather. On the other hand, a much tougher go at it here or back home at the Jersey Shore, Delaware, New Jersey. But I can't believe this. What is this true? I'm away. I always say it, if the cat's away, the mice will play. Well, I'm down in Orlando. I'm looking at the NOAA marine forecast for Thursday, July 18th, and it looks like northwesterlies back at home. I'm not there to confirm it, but hopefully you're enjoying that a celebration of a change in wind direction. It's supposed to go north on Friday, switching back to southwesterly Saturday and Sunday, but that's the forecast from NOAA Marine Weather, and it'll just be nice, I think, to see a little change in wind direction, and hopefully this little bit of north and a little bit of west really will get things mixed up, and I expect we'll see a pretty good weekend. There was a post on the Fisherman's Facebook page over the weekend in response to last week's video fishing forecast. Chris Mazetas said, quote, "Fluking around Great Egg Inlet has been awful. I've not seen it this bad in 10 years. Where are they? Sea robins, blues. This past week, croakers filled the bay, though." That's what he said. Yeah, it's really been tough for everybody. I just want you to know, if you're not seeing the fluke where you are in Cape May County or Ocean County, Atlantic, wherever, there are fish there. There's fish to be had. But you might have to change your tactics a little bit. I was talking to the folks at Scott's Bait and Tackle out of Mystic this week, and they said, you know what, sometimes when that cooler ocean water temperature has come in and filled Great Bay, that you want to get on the flats to find the fluke, because that colder water comes in, they're going to go up on the flats the way they did in May. So you might have to mix it up a little bit. And just because it's mid to late July, if you're working in the back and you've got a difference in water temperature that's that variant between the really, really warms in the 70s or let's say the 80s, down into low 70s or upper 60s. You might want to try up on those flats. But croakers, that was what Chris said, and that's what a lot of our tackle shops are saying as well. Tons of them from the reports we're compiling on a weekly basis for thefisherman.com. Great Bay all the way down into Cape May County, though it does seem to be that behind Brigantine, Atlantic City, and some of the south end of LBI, that seems to be ground zero right now for that catch of croakers. Now, it's shared by the folks from njscuba.net. The croaker is actually a member of the drum family, very similar to black drum, redfish if you want them. They can be caught on smaller pieces of fish bite, on smaller hooks, the same as you would fish for kingfish in the surf. Again, talking to some of the local tackle shops here in Orlando this week, they're saying they're selling a lot of kingfish gear. So folks are adapting to some of those smaller panfish. Croakers, kingfish can be caught on the same rigs pretty much. But I got to tell you, years ago, I remember we used to cast for croakers a lot of times in the surf and caught them on those small Hopkins shorties. So sometimes they can be pretty aggressive. And that's why you're also catching them on a bucktail retrieve while you're fluking. Speaking of aggressive members of the drum family, not long ago, we talked here on the weekly video fishing forecast about where black drum go during the summer months and how they behave somewhat differently in the summertime. That being during the spring run in Great Bay, this year in the lower part of Barnegat Bay, and of course Delaware Bay as well. You're fishing on the bottom with clam baits. They change their attitude during the summer. Here's an interesting image. It was sent by Harlan Blyler of Allentown, PA. He was out on his boat, the Alley B, out of Atlantic Highlands the other day, cruising east towards Rockaway Reef to do some fluke fishing. About a mile west of the reef, he noticed some surface activity. It looked like something busted on top. He throttled back, said everything was so calm. You could see a few dorsal fins sticking out of the water, then a few more. Then all of a sudden there was this big push of water. It was like 6-inch wave rolled for 10 feet or so. Then maybe another 40 yards away, then another, multiple schools of fish. He said hundreds of fish breaking. Could have been stripers. He thought maybe they were just dolphin playing. But they ended up casting at it into this surface blitz at black drum. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So I do see this more and more, but that's probably one of the first that I've heard of a surface blitz with black drum up along the northern coast. But I do hear a lot more folks in the summertime catching black drum on an active retrieve. They're taking lures, and you will see them on top from time to time. Another surprise catch I didn't get to last week in our video was from Sean Smith. He was able to get out about 12 miles in between wind fits with his dad Dave, his son Tyler, and his uncle Sam. The Smith family was on a 20-foot walk around with bluefish and mackerel fillets, just seeing what they might be able to hook up into. And lo and behold, one of those extinct Makeo sharks. Yeah, I know, I say it sarcastically. I wish we would be able to get a Makeo shark fishery. But look at this, pretty cool stuff to catch and release. A 6.5, 7-foot Mako, just about 12 miles off the beaches. Sean said it jumped twice before they were able to manage it along the side of the boat for a healthy release. Quote, wish we could have kept it, Sean said. Yeah, trust me, I get it. It's a shame that we don't have that Mako fishery right now. But we do have plenty of good eating fishes to be had at the Jersey Shore. I mentioned the kingfish, the croaker, another great panfish. Manny Botero was fishing the Stone Harbor surf this week. Each of the 3 days he fished along that Stone Harbor stretch, he caught a lot of kingfish along with spot. He said he fished 2 different spots. They were everywhere. 2 different locations. They were everywhere, Manny said. Some of these kingfish were in the 12-inch range, and they were quite fat. According to Manny, the fish bite bloodworm got the job done.
For more than 20 years, anglers everywhere have come to know one thing, that nothing says no to fish bites.
I, of course, will miss the time when Fluke leave the back bay confines as water temperatures do go on the increase, but I'm looking forward to using some of the new colors in the fish bite lineup, and especially those larger 6-inch grubs on the ocean structure. For sure, we're hearing more about ocean fluking out front along the reefs, wrecks, rock piles, and inshore structure. Frank at Gabriel Tackle this week. He started the week actually showing that the headboats are leaving ports throughout New Jersey, ostensibly central and North Jersey, central being Ocean County all the way up into Monmouth County. But they're picking away at the flatties off the beach, also enjoying that 1 sea bass limit. And it's made the box look more attractive by the fact that the ling fishery has been bonkers. Again, they fight like a wet towel. But if you're looking to get out there and have tug on the line with every other species you can find, and then put a few tasty ling in the box, it's really been a nice benefit. So a lot of the head boats are doing that. So that's great too, because if you don't feel like dealing with the slimy red hake, you can let the mates on the head boats clean it up for you. All you know is you come home the champion with a whole bunch for Fish Fry weekend. Again, you'll see me chopping away at the back, in the back bay, Upper Barnegat Bay, sometime this weekend. They're still there, but sometimes you just got to work a little bit harder for a score. On this week's open boat, we're using the power of Minn Kota, the Minn Kota Tarova, to fish some skinny waters, sometimes the warmer waters. Like I said, this time of year, we're trying to get off the flats, but if you're in the inlets where you've got that fresh, cooler tide coming in, well, you might need to get into skinnier water. Jenny is out on open boat using artificial baits, bucktails, and killies to get dialed in on a finicky fluke bite with Frankie Z from Grumpy's. Enjoy.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's open boat. Today, we're just taking a nice cruise and I just wanted to take you guys fishing with me. No crazy rundowns, no fish biology, just sit back and relax and let's go fishing. We're gonna go see if we can jig us up some river fluke. Oh. A lot of seaweed. What am I snagged on? I'm snagged. It's a hard snag. Very nice. No net needed. Oh. God dang, that was crazy. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Oh. On the killie. It felt good. It felt good. So we're just wrapping up fishing for the day here on the Surreals with Frankie Z. Now we were fluking and I had to switch up my traditional rig a little bit. Usually I just fish artificials, but they weren't hitting, they were hitting on killies. Of course you can use live bait or fresh, you got spearing, squid, whatever floats your boat cap. But for the killies, I'm using a 3.0 octopus hook. And it's easier just to pop the fish off. You have a de-hooker. Frankie's trying to hit me with his rig right here to show you. You got the bucktail, and then you also have the hook, but here he's got a three-way here to make that work. And we crush fish all day on that. So, like I said, that octopus hook is really easy. You don't even have to touch the fluke. You literally wrap around the leader, you get the handy dandy de-hooker tool. You can literally make one yourself, or you could get one and you just de-hook the fluke really easily with that. So thank you guys for coming along with us, coming fishing with me. Hopefully you had fun, and hopefully soon you can get on your own fishing yourselves, and I'll see you on next week's open boat.
It's a snook.
Of course, we have been talking a lot about fluke in the surf up and down the Jersey Shore. There was an impressive fluke reported in the surf since last week's video. The folks at Fanatics in Ocean City weighed in a monster, 9.32 pounds from out along the beach. That jumbo, that rug, taped out at 29.5 inches, and yes, it took gulp, probably on a jig head. Make sure you take advantage of that. The fluking in the surf is terrific this summer. Get down into the lower half of the Garden State, of course. The sheepshead bite is going strong and back. Fiddler crabs on tog jig seems to be the best bet. And again, having that trolling motor on the bow does seem to help, but if you get out with a kayak, those guys that are using the pedals so that their hands are free to fish the structure are doing pretty well as well. Rob English getting it done with that pedal-powered kayak to get yourself snug, your own spot lock, using your feet up against the structure. Fluke, kingfish, ribbonfish, we mentioned that, croakers, all some of the species you'll find from shore right now. Of course, night shifters are getting buckled up to some sizable inshore sharks. There are a few schoolie stripers around, especially when the surf line is a little bit cooler due to the upwelling. And spot, Lafayette's or Cape May goodies, not just South Jersey. This shot, of course, from Noel and the crew from One Stop Bait and Tackle in Atlantic City. An angler using a sabiki rig on the rocks there in Atlantic City to get spot. But I said not just South Jersey, because the last couple of years, this year included, we're seeing more spot registered up in the Point Pleasant Canal, up along the Raritan Bay shore. I've heard it from Phil at the tackle box in Hazlitt. He's talking about them behind Sandy Hook, I believe. Certainly at the Keensburg Pier as well. But if you look, yeah, it's a nice little edible panfish if you get a lot of them. But think more of them as a hardy bait, especially for those tournaments that you might be fishing. If you're looking for a money-winning doormat, those spot are great for putting down on that traditional three-way rig, getting them out, out front in the deeper holes as well. And that could come in handy this tournament weekend. Quite a few tournaments at the Jersey Shore to talk to you about in terms of fluke tournaments. To the north, you've got the Raritan Bay Anglers 34th Annual Fluke Tournament this Saturday, July 20th, with over $4,000 in guaranteed prize money. Captain's meeting is Thursday the 18th. That's today when this video comes out. It's at the Edison Moose Lodge. For more information, go to RaritanBayAnglersFishingClub.com. You'll find the registration and all the details. Out of Manasquan, Central Jersey, this week, you've got the Point Pleasant Elks, the 29th Annual Fluke Tournament with big money payouts, $40,000 in cash based on 250 boats. $40,000 worth of prizes based on 250 boats. That captain's meeting will be held on Friday at the Elks Club. It's on Arnold Avenue, the main strip right through Point Pleasant. You can get all the details at pointpleasantelks.org. South of there, we'll call it South Jersey, heading into Waretown, you've got the Holiday Beach Club Fluke Tournament with weigh-ins out at Creekside Outfitters in Waretown. The captain's meeting is Friday, the 19th, 7 p.m. That's at the club. The headquarters is at 26 Shore Road down in Waretown, right on the bay. Stop by Creekside quickly for details or head on over to the captain's meeting this Friday. Get a complete rundown of all the tournaments, all the events throughout the New Jersey, Delaware Bay region that I'm aware of. It's in that July edition of the Fisherman Magazine. You'll see everything. That magazine is still on newsstands. As soon as I'm back from here in Orlando, it is like just full bore to finish off the August edition in the next couple of weeks. So be sure to go pick up that July edition right now, but look for the August edition, because once we're done here, we start putting the videos together to share with you all the great new products from here at ICAST, and then wrapping up the August edition. And one of these days I'll get out fishing again as well. I know there's one article in the August edition upcoming that I've already looked at. I think it's great. It's written by my friend George Schauer, the Pocono Outdoors Guy.
Well, hey, thanks, Jim. You know, it is July, and yes, it's hot, but we do this every year, guys. You know, fishing gets tough this time of year. Not too many fish want to be in 85-degree water freshwater fish, that is, unless you're in the Gulf Stream somewhere. But this is the sweetwater, guys, and fishing is going to get tough. You will find some bass up in that warm water under some pads. You kind of get some smallmouth now, even though it's getting a little bit more difficult as they're in the deeper water trying to keep cool themselves. The Delaware River is actually producing pretty good right now with some holdover stripers. Rick Hennifer was out with Tim Keeber on Fin Seeker Guide Service, and he managed to get himself a couple of really nice stripers, even this time of year in this heat. Water temp was almost 84 degrees when I checked it right before this forecast, so it's definitely up there for any kind of fish, especially stripers. But Tim said the smallmouth bite was a bit off, so they switched over and went over to some stripers for fun. Now also at New Jersey, Sweetwater over there, we had our good friend Jen Wong. He was out catching some smallmouth too. Tough bite though. They were also out fishing really deep, really slow with a drop shot in deep water. And they also managed to get into a couple of lake trout. Now Jen was out fishing with Chris Perea, and they did get a few fish, kind of surprising, especially those kind of fish this time of year in such warm water. But I think that's the trick, guys. We got to go a little deep, we got to go a little slow, and be very deliberate in what we're fishing. But we will get through it. After today, I think we're in for a little bit of relief from this heat, maybe cool things down a bit, maybe get those fish turned back on. But be sure you get out and get on them. From Pennsylvania, I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors Guy.
Give you a quick summary from last week's New Jersey Marine Fisheries Council meeting that I'd been talking about for several weeks. Now, the council met on Thursday, July 11th in Galloway Township. Sparsely attended crowd, but a couple of folks did speak up in support of the state of New Jersey finally separating speckled trout from weakfish. You've heard it here a lot. The state of New Jersey has always considered weakfish and speckled trout the same species, but they're not. So the council voted to come in line with Delaware on speckled trout. 12 inches, no bag limit. But I'm told that we should not expect these new regulations to come into effect until at least the fall of 2025. So yeah, council approved this new measure, but government moves in strange and mysterious ways. I don't believe there was any discussion on the shark front, but we shall hear more about that, because I did see it as an agenda item or something that was written in a letter. So we're going to continue to follow that in the coming months as well. Offshore action in the New Jersey, Delaware Bay region is improving daily, even though, of course, we're at the mercy of Mother Nature. The NOAA Marine forecast from the Hudson to Baltimore, however, does show some mercy this weekend. Saturday, south winds less than 15 knots, seas only 3 to 4 feet. Sunday, variable winds from the Hudson to the Baltimore with seas 2 to 4 feet. That looks tasty. Get that Tuna Express running strong. Finally, one little news item before I leave this week. Get ready to head over to the Orlando Convention Center. It comes out of CBS News in Boston, Massachusetts. You know, I'm a huge opponent of industrial offshore wind because, quite honestly, the promises made by wind energy shills and government agencies is that these new industrial behemoths will have no impact on our coastal resources. I call BS. The federal government this week shut down the new Vineyard Wind site after turbine failure left large floating debris and fiberglass shards littered along the beaches from broken wind turbine blades off the coast of Martha's Vineyard. Quote, this is a quote from the Nantucket Harbor Master. You can walk on the beaches. However, we strongly recommend you wear footwear due to sharp fiberglass shards and debris on the beaches. You can't get there from here. Well, I guess I should shower, get ready for ICAST. Be back home at the Jersey Shore next week. And I can't wait for Matt, Dave, Jenny, and I to share all the great new products from here at ICAST with you folks twice a week for another year, only at thefisherman.com.